This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. This, I think, is the fourth video in the series of lessons that I'm doing on the basics of playing lead guitar. We've done like a basic pentatonic scale pattern, and then we've done a little bit on the topic of how to make a scale pattern sound like a solo rather than sounding like just running up and down a scale pattern, essentially the art of phrasing. And last time we did a little bit of work on the actual techniques that you need to play a lead guitar, things like string bends and hammer-ons and pull-offs and that kind of thing. Well, today what I thought I'd go through is just expanding your fretboard knowledge a little bit beyond that very serviceable and usable scale pattern that we've been looking at so far, and just basically seeing how we can have a little bit more freedom to move around the neck, a bit like I'm doing in this solo. And before we go any further, as always, there's a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and the jam track I was playing along with as well. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now if you're a regular viewer of this channel, it's $3 or £3-ish a month, and you get access to all of these additional goodies, resources and jam tracks and tabs and stuff that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, including the higher tier level of Patreon membership, where you get a twice monthly hangout on Zoom with me and the other tier 2 members, and some additional video content that I'm putting up there, usually, well, at the moment sort of on a weekly basis, but I just kind of slot that in whenever I get the chance. As I say, thank you to everyone who supports me in any of those ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. So, as you could see in that solo, I was pretty much unfettered. I was coming right from the bottom of the neck, the open string position, all the way right up to the kind of dusty end of the neck, up at the 22nd fret, I think was the highest note I played on that. And it's all just a question of stitching together some patterns. So here's some information on that.
Here is the explanation.
Right, this is the scale pattern that we've been using so far in this series of videos. If you missed the initial video on this, then I'll put a link or links to all of the previous videos down in the description, so you can go and check them out and look at the scales and the techniques that we've been talking about in a little bit more detail. But essentially, you can see that this scale is made up of the 5 notes of G, A, C, D, and E. And what we're going to do today is basically see where else we can play those notes along the whole length of the fretboard. So let's just press this button here, and there we can see every G, every A, every C, every D and every E everywhere along the fretboard, including on the open strings. Now eventually, of course, you're going to need to know all of this, but it's a bit of a mammoth task. And what you need to do is break it down into smaller chunks. So we're just going to kind of isolate little areas of the fretboard, like this one here. That little rectangle I've drawn around those notes there. What we can do is we can just move that over to the side like that, and we've got a scale pattern that you can learn. And now that's basically the same notes that we've been dealing with, the G, A, C, D and E, but just on a part of the neck that you have as yet left unexplored in terms of playing those notes. And then we can take this little group of notes here and move that over to there's another scale pattern. And then this group of notes here, move that over to the side like that, there's another scale pattern. And you can see what we're doing here is we are taking basically groups of notes where we're kind of playing 2 notes on each string across all 6 strings, and they just kind of slot together as you move up the neck. Let's do the next one. There it is, and we can learn that as a scale pattern all on its own. And then the next one, again, 2 notes on each string across all 6 strings, and we get that pattern, which when you kind of isolate it, it looks like that. Moving on, we've got this scale pattern here, and let's move that over to there. And this one is the one that starts at the 12th fret, which, if you know your fretboard, even the basics of it, then you will know that the 12th fret is the same notes as the open string. So compare that to the first scale pattern that we generated at the top of the page there, and you will see that it's the same thing, but just starting at the 12th fret. And this is where we begin to repeat things here, because the one that comes after that, the one that starts on the G note, well, that is replicated here like this. There it is, and that will be at the 15th fret. And then we come to this one here, which is up at the 17th fret, and there we have a bunch of scale patterns. Now, because we're in the key of A minor here, we tend to refer to the pattern that starts on the root note, the A note, as pattern 1. So there, that's pattern 1 there. That would be at the 5th fret, and then we label the subsequent patterns accordingly. So there's pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4, pattern 5, and back to pattern 1 again. And then let's not forget, if you can see there, that behind pattern 1 you've got patterns 5 and 4. Well, there they are down there as well. Okay, so you can literally go from the open strings right up to the very highest fret on your guitar just by daisy chaining those patterns together. And here's a little demonstration of me doing exactly that. Okay, so here is pattern 1 at the 5th fret. And all you got to remember is that the second note in each pattern becomes the first note in the next pattern. So there's the first note in pattern 1, second note in pattern 1 becomes the first note in pattern 2. Then the second note in pattern 2, that one there, becomes the first note in pattern 3. Second note in pattern 3, That one becomes the first note in pattern 4. The second note in pattern 4, that one becomes the first note in pattern 5. Then the second note in pattern 5 becomes the first note in pattern 1 again. And you can go even higher. You can take the second note in pattern 1 and generate pattern 2 once again if you've got enough frets. Can't do that on a vintage Fender guitar because they run out of steam at that fret and you need this one to do that. But, you know, and then once again, as I said earlier, that the 12th fret, the pattern that begins at the 12th fret, which is pattern 4, is also available off the open strings down here. So here's pattern 4. And once again, the second note in pattern 4 becomes the first note in pattern 5. So you can see how by just daisy chaining these patterns together you can go from the lowest note on the guitar all the way up to, if you've got 22 frets, the highest note on the guitar, just by going from pattern to pattern to pattern to pattern like this. And back down again. So that is all 5 pentatonic boxes that you can use to just stitch the whole neck together in any key. Obviously, if you're not doing it in A minor, let's say you're doing it in B minor, everything moves up 2 frets. So some of the stuff that was up here will have dropped off this end, but it will reappear back down that end. That's how it works. So now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. Then, of course, it would be handy to know where each of those patterns 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are in every key. And for that, you can refer to this table here. You can see the patterns indicated, numbered 1 to 5. And then in the table below that, you can see all 12 keys from A minor to G sharp minor or C major to B major, if you prefer thinking in terms of the major identities. And for each pattern in each key, you have got not only the fret number that it begins on, but the note that it begins on as well. And I should just mention as well that that little explanation video and a PDF of that table that you saw in there showing all of the different patterns in every key and which frets and everything, all of that is up on the Patreon page as well. As I say, a link in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this little exploration of the fretboard using the pentatonic boxes, as they are called. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about stuff. Basically, that's the order of the day there. What stuff we talk about usually includes, but is not limited to, music and guitar. The conversation often can and does go absolutely anywhere. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.